Painting with oils involves a lot of steps, but when someone knows these, they can be richly rewarded with confidence and their own form of a masterpiece. I find painting to be one of the best ways to relieve stress, give you a greater self-confidence, and a finished product that can be given as a gift or displayed in your own home. Although the cost of supplies is high, oil paints and brushes last for long periods of time and are worth all the benefits that oil painting gives the artist. Today I'm going to share with you the steps and techniques to creating an oil painting. So how does one start? You should go to a local art store, college bookstore, or craft store to purchase high quality items that are needed for your painting. Brushes are an important necessity to oil painting. Good quality and stable brushes must be purchased and must be ones that are made specifically for oil mediums. Turpentine should be your next purchase. This is also known as paint thinner. This is used for thinning your paints and cleaning your brushes. Palettes are a much needed item with painting. This gives you a surface to place your paints and mix your needed colors. Examples are a piece of wax paper, porcelain plates, or glass. Paints need to be picked out accordingly, but you do not have to start out with a huge amount of colors. You should have cadmium yellow, cadmium orange, cadmium red, ultramarine blue, cadmium green, black, and a large tube of titanium white. With these colors, you can mix them to make other color combinations. This eliminates the need for the purchase of more paint. Canvas can be found in many different shapes, sizes, and textures. I prefer Frederick's Red Label cotton canvas because it is cheaper and also a good enough quality for oil painting. The size you buy depends on how small or how large you want your painting to be. You can purchase any type of texture of canvas. It just depends on what you prefer. An easel is also a great addition to your painting experience. An easel allows one to comfortably sit or stand in front of their work surface. I understand the high cost of an easel, so you can instead hang it on the wall or prop it up on a chair higher than the chair you will be seated in. Lastly, although you can just play around with mixing the paints, I found that the book titled Color Mixing Recipes by William F. Powell gives you a better understanding of mixing colors for flesh palettes, warm or cool colors, and color psychology. The colors you paint with are the most important part of creating a work of art that provokes reaction and emotion. This book also helps you understand that a person's face, for example, is made up of many colors. Not just creamy tones, but like green or blue, for example. Once you have all the needed supplies, you should choose an appropriate space for painting. You can paint anywhere you like, but there are a few things that you should take into consideration when deciding. Your space should be well ventilated. An example would be a room with open windows or an outside space. Since you will be working with turpentine, this solution is extremely flammable and gives off a lot of fumes. This should never be put down the drain and should be kept in a coffee can with a lid covered when not in use. Now that you have chosen a well-ventilated area for your painting, we will set up our area with supplies. Setting up supplies should be laid out so that you are able to focus on what you are painting without this distraction of being unorganized or having an item out of reach. Painting should be comfortable, so whether or not you are right or left-handed depends on where you place your palette and coffee can of turpentine. Place your chosen palette down and squeeze out the colors you will use to paint with onto the surface of the palette. Add more paint as needed. Make sure you moisten your brush with turpentine before dipping it into the paint. Add more turpentine if you want the paint to be thinner. Pour your turpentine into a coffee can about 1/4 full. Keep your lid to cover it when you are done and set it next to your palette. Prop your canvas on a higher chair or use books to position the canvas at eye level. Have your brushes laid out from smallest to largest. You will also need a roll of paper towels for cleaning your brushes in between colors and cleaning them when you are done. Since we have completed our setup, we will move on to the actual process of painting with oils. Painting in steps is very important when it comes to oils, because oils take quite some time to dry. The first step is painting a background. Think of your painting as having many layers that you are building up until it is complete. Your background will be your first layer and can be any color you like depending on what you're doing for your painting. I like to etch my design or outline into the wet, dark background with an eraser. This allows you to repaint the canvas if you make a mistake. If you want a light background, one should paint a dark color, allow it to dry, and then apply the light color. This allows you to see the outline clear and make it easier for you to paint. Lastly, allow it to dry until it is no longer wet or tacky before applying any more paint. And I'm going to give you an example of how to do the background. I've chosen a large brush, and I'm going to dip it in my turpentine. And I'm using a canvas that I'd already used, but I'm going to turn it into a different painting. And you want to make sure that you cover your edges, your top and your bottom of the painting. And once you have the whole thing finished, then you can take your eraser and create your design in the painting. And see how it shows the outline? And that can be what you paint inside of. Now that our background with our outline is dry, we can proceed to the next step. The next process is like creating the second layer of your painting. You will want to use a fine tip brush, like this one, or even this one works pretty well, to fill in the colors you have chosen. Use your previous drawing with the eraser, like I have here, as a guide for your brush. The lighter outline will also add depth to what you are painting. Now I'm going to switch to a painting that I have already started. And once you have filled in where your lines were from your brush with your chosen colors, you want to allow this layer to dry so that you can begin your detail on your painting. Since we have completed the second layer and it is now dry, we will move on to the last phase of our painting. Detailing your painting gives life and a finished look to your piece. There are many different ways one can detail. This all depends on what you are painting or the look you desire. When it comes to lines or other small details, I use a fine tip brush, like this one. Really light or dark colors can be used to make the picture objects stand out. Another form is called dry brushing. This adds a softer, smoother look to your painting. This can also make things appear darker or lighter depending on the colors used and can add more dimension to an object. And I'm going to show you an example of dry brushing. If you want to attempt dry brushing, your painting must be completely dry. Use a large house painting brush that is dry. This can be found at a dollar store. Apply a tiny amount of paint to the tips. Lightly dust any excess lumps on the bristles and apply it with a light sweeping motion. So So here I'm going to make sure I don't have too much paint on my brush, because this won't give you the effect you want if you have too much. And like here, I'm going to add some light color to my apple. And this will make the apple stand out more. Just like that. Okay, now we will move on to another part of painting, a routine. There should always be a certain routine or a ritual that an artist should do after painting to ensure a great finished product and keep your supplies in good shape. You should always stand back and observe your painting from a distance. This allows you to see your painting as a whole and make any last-minute changes. If you plan on painting again soon, you should cover your used palette with plastic wrap so that your paint can be used again. A proper cleaning of your brushes extends the life of your bristles, which are important in making the perfect stroke. With oils, you must clean your brushes well with the turpentine until all the paint is removed. Then dry with paper towel. Lastly, you must cover your can of turpentine with a lid to prevent spills or harmful fumes, and this must be kept out of reach from your children. Now that I have shown you the basics of oil painting, I want to share with you the best part of the process, your completed masterpiece. Having the finished product in your hands will leave you with a clearer mind and wonderful feelings that will last you a lifetime. When I have finished a painting, I enjoy the fact that I have accomplished my own idea of a masterpiece, and I am able to share my creativity with others. I either give my paintings away as gifts or use them to decorate the walls of my home. In conclusion, I want you to understand that it doesn't have to be perfect, just fun, because that is what makes creating art so great. I am also glad that I was able to share with you what I am extremely passionate about. I hope you too will begin to paint and enjoy all the wonderful advantages that painting holds. So hang up your painting and enjoy the view. Thank you.